Hello everyone and welcome back to my true crime channel. I hope you're all well. I just wanted to give you my thoughts and views on the latest explosive instalment from Chris on the interview room, and the reason for that is because there is a whole new phone call that he has included in his latest video that he has received from Don in recent days or weeks, where Don completely loses his shit, kicks off big time and really goes in for Chris. So basically, the main reason Don has got beef with Chris is because of all the abuse claims regarding Don and his stepsister and other members of his family. Although how many there are exactly, it's very disturbing. None of us are really aware. What Don didn't like is that Chris called him out on it. And when he pushes Don to admit what the age difference was between him and his stepsister, he went mental, lost his shit completely, didn't want to admit to it. We do believe, I think, that it's a 7-year age gap, although there are varying reports, but whatever. The little girl was 5 years old. Apparently Don was 12. That's disgusting, vile, makes me sick to my stomach. And what makes me even more sick to my stomach, and I didn't think it was even possible to feel more sick about Don's shady ways, is that he blames his stepsister for the abuse and says that she initiated it. I mean, we've just found out that potentially Don's got a 17-year-old girlfriend, even though he's with Candace. Maybe they've got an open relationship. Who knows what goes on with those two? This case gets more bizarre by the day. I often wonder, can it really get any more strange, any more weird, any more bizarre? And yes, it can. We should no longer be surprised by all the twists and turns in this case. Going back to what I was just saying, how Don can think that a 5-year-old initiated that sort of disgusting behaviour is beyond me. Don Wells never blames himself for anything, never takes responsibility for his actions. It's always everybody else's fault. I've never really spoken so strongly about this before because I've never wanted to bash Don. I always wanted to remain quite neutral on the parents, but obviously give my thoughts and views on whether I think they're involved. But after hearing him blame the stepsister, I just think he's disgusting. So this has got on me thinking, I mean, first and foremost, a lot of you must be thinking the same as me, just separate to what is regarding this, but separate, thinking of Candace here. How the hell is she putting up with this bullshit? If he has done all these things in his past, why is she with him in the first place? Especially all the, the things about his stepsister. But there's no smoke without fire. There's more than one claim of abuse. So he obviously has done it and he's admitted to it. That's what I don't understand. Certain things he denies, other things he's admitted to. The horrifying and disgraceful and disgusting things he has admitted to should be enough to make Candace want to leave him. But no. And if there is a 17-year-old girlfriend, wouldn't you think that would make Candace want to leave him? Well, no, apparently not. I can't get my head around this. I would never put up with this from a partner or a boyfriend. I can't get my head around it. Whether or not Candace is involved in her daughter's disappearance, no woman deserves to be treated like this by a man. It's a disgrace. And Don Wells is a deluded fool who keeps speaking to people on YouTube, digging himself a very big hole, digging himself a grave. Very soon, I think he's going to fall in. So when you think about it, Don has always tried to portray himself as the family man, the great dad, the fantastic father figure. Well, take a look at this picture, everybody. A lot of people think that they're pellet guns and they're not real air rifles or shotguns, and perhaps they are. But look at where the youngest child, up from Summer, the youngest boy, is pointing the gun that he's holding, whether or not it's a real one, at his brother's head. I don't see how that's good parenting. Not really comfortable with kids with guns, whether they're toy guns. I don't think they're a good idea, but that's just my personal opinion. But he's clearly not a good dad. I've heard him badmouth those boys on more than one occasion, which has always raised huge red flags for me. Blaming them on the door not being locked in the basement, blaming them, if you think back to the initial interviews, on not telling Summer to come in from playing when it was time. He's been blaming them boys from day one. I mean, for God's sake, haven't them poor 3 boys been through enough? Their sister is missing. Their auntie's been missing for a number of years. When their sister goes missing, their grandma disappears for 3 months. They're then took into care. Their dad is an abuser. They've both got his parents have got drug and alcohol problems. They've been through a terrible time, but yet brilliant father Don Wells constantly bashes his sons and blames them for things that are his fault. You know, whether a door is locked should be an adult's responsibility, not a child's. Whether a young girl comes in from playing at the appropriate time is the parent's responsibility. But no, Don blames these things on his children, and I'm sure I could find a few more examples of where he's blamed things on the children, almost, in my opinion, blaming the boys on occasions for Summer's disappearance. So Don blames anybody but himself when the shit hits the fan. He's happy to blame his sons for leaving doors unlocked. He's even blamed Candace at points when you really listen and analyse his words. Blames everybody but himself. You know, the fact that he said recently as well, which has disturbed me since I heard it, that he always knew something bad was going to happen to Summer. And he even believes that Summer herself, aged 5, knew that something bad was going to happen to her one day. That's really disturbing. He trips himself up. He constantly contradicts himself and constantly blaming the other members of his family, his young sons and his wife, for Summer's disappearance. Now, maybe Candace is at fault here. Maybe she is to blame, but I very much doubt that the boys are involved. So why bash them? Why keep giving all these interviews when you know what happened to Summer and sooner or later the truth is going to come out? So I've been trying to figure out for a few weeks now, why is this case so damn captivating for everybody that is interested in true crime? Well, it's not just the fact that a 5-year-old girl is missing. That is heartbreaking in itself, but it's her father. He's the centre of this story. You know, Candace doesn't do as many interviews as Don. I think he's obsessed by the limelight. I think he wants to be famous from his daughter's disappearance. He lives in Don's little world. His own weird bullshit world where he believes his own lies. He believes he's this great person who's really an abuser, which is horrific. And what I don't understand, and I've never understood, is the level of interviews he keeps choosing to give, digging himself a deeper hole, as I said before. But he believes that he can keep convincing people that he's innocent and he doesn't know what happened. But he does know what happened. And I really don't know why he doesn't just come out and admit it and let Summer's case be solved. So sorry guys, my tone of voice is probably getting a bit stressed, a bit angsty, because I'm starting to get quite pissed off with Don Wells and his webs of lies, his bullshit that keeps spewing out of his mouth when his daughter is missing. Where is the urgency to find Summer Wells? Where is the urgency to find his precious daughter, as he keeps telling us all how much she loved him, how much he loved her? Always note the use of past tense there, guys. Red flag. He's just full of so much shit. I can't get my head round him. He's one of the strangest characters I've come across in a long time in a true crime case. And obviously there are a lot of strange characters in true crime cases, but Donwell takes the biscuit. I mean, a lot of killers in England where I live have done media interviews thinking it will make them look innocent and that they're just a member of the public that doesn't know what really happened. No, Don, it's not working for you, mate. Everybody's got your number. Everybody now knows that you're an abuser. Everybody now knows you've got guilty knowledge of your daughter. A lot of us have thought it all along, and you're just not helping yourself. You keep wondering why everyone's against you, but it's because of the words that you choose to use, Don. It's because of the weird body language that you've displayed from the beginning, talking about your daughter in the past tense. Is it any wonder that anyone thinks that you're involved? I'm sure you guys watched the latest instalment from Chris at the interview room with the fantastic statement analysis that they have had of the phone call, and his analysis at the end of the video, the statement analyst, it was really interesting. He believes that there was an accident. He's obviously not said whether he thinks it was Candace or Don or both of them, but he obviously thinks they've got guilty knowledge. He thinks it was an accident that was covered up. I've always believed that myself. I hoped it wasn't true, but I have always thought that, and it really does seem like it is the most likely scenario. Well, what I want us all to keep remembering here, guys, is this is about Summer Wells, a missing 5-year-old girl from Tennessee in America. Where is Summer? When is Summer going to get found? When is the shit show from Don Wells going to end? When are the lies going to stop being told? When is all the drama going to end? When is this search going to pay off? I am starting to wonder now, is this going to end up like a Madeleine McCann type case where the little child is never found? I hope that isn't the case. I've always wondered from when I very first heard Candace and Don speak why I found their language so weird. I didn't want to believe they were involved in their daughter's disappearance to start with, but sadly, the more and more I listened to them speak, the language they chose to use, their body language, the real weird use of the past tense in one of the first interviews that they gave surrounding Summer's disappearance, have always raised red flags, and sadly, it does appear that they are involved. Obviously, we don't know that that's true. I really hope it's not. I hope they haven't hurt Summer. It could be an accident that's been covered up. Either way, it's horrific. If it's true, I hope it's not. I keep praying that maybe Summer's off with her grandma somewhere and this is some big conspiracy to get money. A similar case to that happened here in the UK. I don't know if everyone, especially you American viewers, might not be aware of the case of Shannon Matthews. Savagely, her mother hid her in a bed for around a 3-week period so she could pretend she was missing to make money. Now, I don't know that that's gone on here, but for me that would be a better scenario than Summer not being alive anymore. Not that I want her to be hidden in a bed, that's not what I'm saying. But things like that do go on, so it's certainly possible. Personally, I don't think that's true, but I know a lot of people have suggested that that could be the case, that she has been hidden somewhere. Sadly, I don't think that's true. There have always been inconsistencies with the parents' stories. They've always contradicted themselves, tripped over each other's lies. I do believe, and I've always believed, that Summer came to harm in Candace's care, whether accident or not. I didn't really believe from the beginning that Don was there, although I'm still not certain whether he was or wasn't at work all day. There's a few discrepancies where that's concerned, but I still believe whether Don and Candace were both there at the time, Summer came to harm and it's been covered up. I really hope I'm wrong, but the more and more I look into this case, the more and more I think that is what's happened here. But as I always say, guys, I hope that's not the truth. I hope that's not what's happened here. I hope Summer is found safe and well. But sadly, the more the weeks pass by in this case, the more I don't think Summer's going to be found. So I've got to say, hearing the way that Don let rip into Chris last night really disgusted me. It's really pissed me off, to be quite honest. It was just like, wow, let's make this about your missing daughter, not about your past history of abuse, which you have admitted to, but you can't handle that it's now out in the public eye. Wow, Don, make this about Summer Wells. Make this about your daughter. I'm still hoping that Summer's going to be found alive. Like I said, guys, I don't think that's going to happen, but I still have hope, obviously. We don't ever want to lose hope for Summer. But the more this goes on, it just gets more bizarre by the day. I'm no longer surprised by the weird things that I hear on the daily, and I just can't believe Don's behaviour, thinking it's appropriate to speak to someone like that was trying to help you find your daughter. I know he thinks Chris has set him up, but he really hasn't. He's just like everybody else here, trying to find Summer. So speaking of trying to find Summer, I hope and I pray that Summer is found soon. I hope this case comes to an end. You know, it's really not looking good. I'm sure that the police department in America that is dealing with this case must have people in mind. Something I've said before, I really will be interested to hear the 911 calls when they're released, as it's going to be very interesting to hear what Candace and Don had to say at the start of all of this, to hear if there's any guilty knowledge that can be heard in those calls. I personally don't think they'll release them until the case is solved. Perhaps someone's been to court, if it ever does get solved, but when those calls come out, I think they're going to be a real eye-opener. Well, anyway, guys, I hope you're well. I hope you're taking care of one another. I hope you're keeping safe. And as always, I'll be back very soon with another true crime video. Bye for now.